See, this direct form 2 structure, it overcomes the drawback, a specific drawback of direct form 1 structure. Okay. And for implementing direct form 2 structure, definitely you have to go for is the transform of the given difference equation. For all the other three types, direct form 2, cascade and parallel, you must go for finding is a transform of the given difference equation and representing it as a transfer function like this. So given the difference equation, we are taking is a transform, we are expanding it, taking is a transform on both sides. Okay. Group all the terms with y on one side and all the terms with x on the other side. We have grouped the x term and y term separately. We have taken x of z and y of z as common and grouped it. And then in the next step, we have to find the transfer function. So finding transfer function is the first step of direct form 2 structure realization. Have this in mind. You have to find the direct form 2 structure, transfer function. So transfer function in general for this difference equation is y of z by x of z is equal to all b terms divided by 1 plus this a terms you will get. You have determined the transfer function. After this, you express this y of z by x of z as y of z by w of z into w of z by x of z. You are introducing, that is multiplying and dividing by w of z. So this is the next step that you have to follow for direct form 2 realization structure. Y of z by x of z is y by w, w by x. Okay. And then we are going to split this into two different terms. So y of z by w of z. For y of z by w of z, you take the numerator alone, the numerator term alone of this transfer function. Since y of z is in the numerator, you are taking only the numerator. You can remember it like that, right? So next step, y of z by w of z is equal to this numerator alone. We have written. Cross multiply this. Y of z is equal to b naught into all w of z you will get. Okay. Similarly, what you can do is w of z by x of z. How we can split this into two different product of, how we can represent this as a product of two different terms. Y of z by w of z, we have considered the numerator alone. So what will be w of z by x of z? It will be 1 by this. 1 divided by the denominator alone. Since x of z is in the denominator, you are considering denominator term for this w by x. That is what is represented here. W of z by x of z is 1 divided by the denominator term alone. Now if I multiply this y of z by w of z into w of z by x of z, definitely I will get the same transfer function without any change in its value. So always for all the problem, y by w, consider the numerator term alone. W by x, you consider the denominator. 1 by denominator, you have to consider for w by x. Again, you cross multiply. This will go here and this x of z will come here. Now in this x of z is equal to, in this equation, you bring w of z alone to the left hand side and bring all the other terms to the right hand side. This is additional step that you have to do. W of z alone you keep here and bring all the terms to the other side. So it is x of z minus a1 z inverse minus an z inverse z power minus n w of z. Now we are supposed to draw the direct form 2 structure of this equation 2 and equation 3. This is the two new equations for which we have to draw the structure. Equation 2 is obtained. Hope you are understanding the steps. Find the transfer function. If you are asked to draw the direct form 2 realization structure, you first find the transfer function. Split this into two different parts, y by w, w by x. Take y by w as only the numerator. Cross multiply it, you will get an equation. Take w by z, w by x as 1 by this denominator. Cross multiply. After cross multiplication, keep w of z alone on one side and bring all the other terms to the other side. Once this step is over, draw the structure for equation 2 and equation 3. You will get direct form 2 realization structure. And how to draw this structure? See, as I told you, for this we are drawing the structure using Z transform by taking the Z transform value. So x of Z is going to be the input and y of Z is going to be the output. Okay. W of Z, of course, is nothing but the intermediate output. First, let us draw the equation for the structure. For this, structure for this equation. See, this has the input terms, right? Here, x of Z is the input, W of Z is the output. So let us consider this equation and draw the structure for it. We have taken x of Z as the input and W of Z is the output. Okay. Now what is the term here? X of Z goes directly. So this x of Z reaches the output directly without any constant multiplier. Keep it as such. Next term is minus A1 Z inverse W of Z. Z inverse W of Z. So I have to pass this W of Z into a delay element where I will get Z inverse W of Z. Is it not? Now this Z inverse W of Z must be multiplied with minus A1. Minus A1 and it has to be added to the previous term. This has to be added to the first term, which is x of Z. That is what I have drawn here. Okay. We are drawing the equation for this, structure for this equation 3. Next term, of course, it will be Z power minus 1, where you will get Z power minus 2 W of Z minus A2, add it with the previous term. Like this it goes till the last, where last term will be minus an. Okay, this is the structure for this equation 3. Coming to equation 2. What is equation 2? In equation 2, y of z is the output, w of z is the input. Okay, so y of z is the input, w of z is the input, y of z is the output for equation 2. Y of z is the output. What is the first term? B naught into w of z. So what we have to do here? What we have to do? W of z, we have this at this intermediate term. Multiply this w of z by b naught. I will get, at this point, I will get b naught into w of z. First term is over. Second term is what? b1 z inverse w of z. How can we obtain this? Delay w of z by 1 unit, multiply it with b1, add it with the previous term. This is what we have to do. Delay w of z by 1 unit. Delay is already present here, is it not? We have already drawn a delay element here. W of z is delayed by 1 unit at this point. Now this has to be multiplied with b1. What I will get? b1 into z inverse w of z. Now this second term has to be added to the previous term. B naught w. This is b naught w of z plus b1 z inverse w of z. Third term will be b2 z power minus 2 w of z. Already we have z power minus 2 w of z. So it is enough to multiply this with b2 and add it to the previous term. Like this it goes. With this I can very well multiply bm and add it to the previous term. Now this is the direct form 2 structure realization.